memory, so the scenes that I've worked on most recently tend to be the ones that I think are like the greatest. I have to say that the episode coming up with where I meet Solomon Grundy.
Yeah!
Guys, he's so good. I have to say that I had so much fun on this episode. It was super cool to see Drew, suddenly like show up and be a massive character in the mythology, and it's really just the story being like Butch and I didn't get along, and then all of a sudden he's Solomon Grundy. I could really use some muscle like this, and he seems to be dumb enough that I can drag him to do things. So it just gets really fun. It kind of brings out a different personality in Ed, like a different character in him, because he's not incredibly bright, but he knows how to use and abuse people. So it's a really fun pairing, and I'm really excited for this episode to air.
Thanks, Cory.
Yeah.
Too short for this? Okay.
She's
Hi.
like zombie Riddler. I don't know if you can tell, but she has like blood all over her face.
Yeah, trying to be like, shut up, Riddlerette over here.
Oh my god.
Because I'm a horrible person, you know?
No. That's awesome.
Okay, sorry. So, thoughts on Nick Marvel Pot, please?
What about it? I had one of your hairs, long hairs over your chin.
I don't know, thoughts, opinions, what do you think of it?
Well, I mean, as of last Thursday, it's not looking good. I always love working with Robin because we have a great time, and I think we have really great chemistry, and it's super fun. And I think that the season 3 version of Ed was highly influenced by watching Penguin and studying Penguin and having Penguin kind of be a mentor and teacher to him. And I think as Riddler moves on, a lot of the sort of like cunning sharpness that he had toward the end of season 3 is kind of going to be dissipated because he just doesn't have that sort of mental capacity. So I'm going to be interested, something I'm looking forward to that I'm talking to the writers about, is as Ed changes over season 4 and he's spending more time with other people and is going through this rehashing of his identity, what's the new personality of the Riddler that emerges, and how does that conflict with Penguin in the future, so that there may be a little less similar. We shall see. Yeah.
Hi.
Hey.
So, Riddler, Enigma, they're, especially here lately, you spend so much time with all this intense emotion, and it's like explosive, and it's so, I don't even know the word for it, but is that not sometimes just draining for you at the end of the day, when you just, because sometimes I'm just waiting for you to blow up.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. There's, this next episode was one of the most exhausting to do. It's like scene after scene after scene. It's very physical. And he's quite exasperated and like nervous. There's this zombie person walking at him that looks a hell of a lot like Butch. It's kind of weird. So yeah, it can be exhausting, but I find that like if you are like constantly using energy and like creating it and letting it kind of roll, that it sustains you through the day. And then I crash at night, but it's actually the days when like you have something really intense to do, and then it's a long day of sitting or waiting, or the days when you're kind of like an ancillary character and you're just kind of sitting around and the action is happening elsewhere. I actually find those days to be way more exhausting because you're sitting there for 12, 13, 14 hours and you're not really doing a whole lot physically, so it's hard to like generate energy. But the more I do it, I like it. It's fun.
Thank you.
Hi. I was just wondering if you had a favorite riddle, not necessarily from the show, just in general.
I don't read them in my free time because it's like at this point I get paid to say them, you know. So it's like I read a lot. I just never read riddles. I stay far away from them.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Hi. Okay, had you not been casted as Riddler, who could you see yourself playing?
No one. That is a question that we all get asked all the time, and it is so. I think it's fair to say that is the most common question, and we all like collectively I think say the same thing unless I'm wrong. I haven't seen anyone else's Q&A, but we usually say because I think that this cast is incredible, collectively incredible.
Yeah.
Truly an honor to be among all of you guys, and I can't even imagine any of them being replaced. So I'm very happy with the role. Also, that's the only role that I like went out for it. It was the only one that seemed appropriate or most interesting to me personally. Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi. So I was wondering, do you agree with all of Enigma's actions, or would you change anything that he's done so far?
I think he is a very lost soul who's quite evil and has done some terrible things. But isn't it so fun to watch them?
So while I would suggest that maybe he should make some changes in his instinctual reactions to things, I kind of enjoy watching him, you know?
Thank you.
Yeah. I would maybe suggest that if there's one thing I would suggest, which I think was a turning point in his life, that maybe the best way to express or make someone hear that you love them is not with your hands around their neck. I would suggest that for anyone in this room, not just that.
Hi. So I was just going to ask them, do you have
we
any advice for
live.
someone who's just starting out into the acting field?
Yep. Do you have a notebook?
Yes.
Are you in high school?
Yeah, freshman.
You're a freshman in high school. Great. Well, things you can do now, I would say take acting classes, whether they are available at your high school or maybe there's, I don't know if you live in Chicago, but there are tons of places in Chicago where you can take classes. I would highly suggest doing physical activities, whether that is sports or yoga or dance or something where you are using your body and you are like in control of it and you're studying it and you're getting stronger using it. I think that's a really important part. I would suggest you read as many plays as you can in your free time. I would suggest watching movies and TV. Like these are all things you can do in high school to be like, if you really enjoy the art form, watch as much of it as possible, read as much of it as possible, and do things constantly where you are putting yourself in a position where you're in front of people and you may get nervous, but you are figuring out how to just live the moment and be comfortable and trust yourself. I think, whether that's being in choir or band or learning an instrument, doing recitals, I think it's really important to spend time in front of people, feel comfortable being yourself. And then, once you're, and I went to college for 4 years. I went and got a bachelor's degree at a school in Ohio called Otterbein University. It is a small liberal arts school that worked really well for me. I don't think it's great for everybody, but no school is. I think something you can do in high school is to spend your time figuring out, visiting colleges and saying like, hey, what's the right environment for me? Is it being in a conservatory with a bunch of people who are like completely and utterly focused on performance and craft and theater or acting or music or dance or whatever, you're just surrounded by those people all the time, I would have gone crazy, because actors are psychos. I need to be away from them as much as possible. No, that just wasn't the right environment for me. I wanted to go to a school where I was taking philosophy classes and English classes and language, sociology. That was really important for me. I wanted to get a broader education, and I wanted to sit in classes for at least half of my day with people that didn't do what I do. Because at the end of the day, you are playing people that are not actors, so it's good to be around them. Yeah, those are things I would suggest right now that you can do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.